All right, we're getting this webinar started. This week's Profitable Team Leader Mastermind. I've got guest star Michael Martin with me. He's killing it. His team is killing it. They're killing it no matter what the market's doing. So I wanted to bring him on today, share some of his insights into what they're doing, how they're successful, what he's doing to prospect. I know he's a master cold caller. He loves the phones. So I just wanted to chat with him about that too, and just kind of give you guys some kind of insight into what he's doing in his world. So first of all, Mike, why don't you just give anybody that's going to listen to this a little insight into who you are, when you started, when you became a team, and kind of what you're doing with the team.
Sure. So I started about 10 years ago with you at Exit. I think we became a team in 2018. We were with Keller Williams, and we became M&R Realty experts. I was with my ex, and we did really, really well as a team. Closed probably in the 4 years before I changed to the Martin Legacy Group. I don't know, 200 and something homes in those 4 years. So, yeah. So then this past month, I guess, I had to rebrand, and we went from M&R Realty Experts to Martin Legacy Group. Sole owner, and now I'm really building this team to be something really special.
Okay, what does that look like? How many team members do you have now?
1, 2, 3, 5. 5 right now. I have 3 people that are in the class right now that want to get their license. And then I have 2 more agents that I'm talking to this week. One actually is going to be joining from Fall River. Okay.
When you look at adding team members, what are the couple of the biggest factors for you to decide on whether someone's right for your team or not?
So if it's a seasoned agent, I want them to just be open-minded and be able to learn. And if it's I actually like newer agents, because then I can kind of mold them into the way that that I think they should be, and just kind of get them off the right step, right away. With a seasoned one, sometimes you kind of break some bad habits if they have them. So I kind of like the newer agents. It's a little bit easier to train.
What bad habits do agents have that you just feel like that it prohibits them from being successful?
Laziness. They just expect, because they join a team, they just expect leads and just everything to just flow in without doing any work whatsoever. So I don't like that. So I'd rather just kind of nip that in the butt right in the beginning and just work with them and show them how to get business organically themselves, as well as getting stuff from the team.
Okay, so you're looking for them to be able to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Maybe at least try, anyways.
Right. So you don't mind training agents from new because you can mold them the way you want to.
Pretty much, yeah. It seems to be easier. They listen more. They like sponges. And
when someone's coming on your team that hasn't been in real estate yet, what are the couple things that you educate them on the process of becoming a successful real estate agent?
This is not $1 million listing. You're not going to go out and sell 1 million homes the first week. It does take work. It takes a lot of effort, and you have to treat it like a career. Because I know at the beginning I really didn't. I treated it more like a hobby, but I had another job. And then once I literally sat down, got rid of the other job, I walked in, gave my keys, and left. I treated it like a career, and it just changed everything. I went from 22 homes part-time to that same exact year when I left. I think we did 45. So just treating it like a career.
Yeah. So as a team leader, I know you look at it as you're the rainmaker. You're the one that's gonna basically outperform any of your team members and show them the way. What does a day look like for you in the world of real estate?
I don't ever go against the first 2 things in my morning. So I wake up, go to the gym, I go home, make a good breakfast. I don't really do a whole lot with real estate for those couple hours, but it's early, so no one really talks to me anyway. All right.
So you kick your day off going to the gym.
Yep. I have to get that out of the way. Otherwise, real estate would probably kill me.
Right.
So it tends to be stressful once in a while, especially when you're getting, up to that over 50, over 50 sales alone yourself, and it tends to be a little stressful.
Right. What keeps those 50 sales coming in? What are the prospecting activities that you focus on a daily basis to make sure the leads are always flowing in?
Most of mine now come from, past clients and just keeping a good sphere and keeping top of mind. I never give people too much time. If someone tells me to call them back in 6 months, I call them in 2 or 1. Because every time I waited 6 months, they already bought something or sold something.
Right.
So my stuff comes in via organic, and I have some leads and stuff with lead generation that I do, cold calling, stuff like that. I've done door knocking, which I actually enjoy doing.
Door knocking? Okay.
It's a fun way to meet people. And I always thought it was going to be like scary. And the first couple were, but no, everyone always has like a good outlook on it once they talk to me. So it's kind of fun. I get a lot from like Facebook, just running ads and just having a good social media presence. I got 3 listings in buys last year just because on like the forums, someone will post, I need a realtor, and then everyone will post their favorite realtor. So they would count who got the most votes on those forums, and I got 3 listings and buys out of it just because I had more than anyone.
Like community forums?
Yeah, like the Oxford forum, I get recommended all the time on there, so it just shows that people like me apparently.
Right. What do you have a CRM that you use to keep in touch with people on a consistent basis?
Yeah, so I use Market Leader.
Okay.
AW had it before they went to Command, but I liked it, so I didn't want to get rid of it, so I just pay for it.
Right.
Because it's easy, it's
Right.
super user friendly. It's great to keep. Like I keep ridiculous notes with every client or every person, not even a client. Like if they're a cold lead, I make sure that anything they say gets written down. Like if they had knee surgery, I make sure that's in there so that I can talk to them next time about their knee, just to kind of rapport before actually them jumping and doing something.
So you're looking for something to connect with them on that's outside of the real estate purposes.
Yeah, because usually every other call will be about real estate. I'll call once about real estate. The next one will be personal, like just checking in on them, seeing how their surgery went, see how their daughter MS is going, like whatever I have written notes of that person. But I'm usually pretty religious about every 2 weeks. Call almost the same people over and over.
Yeah, do a lot of them pick up?
No, actually. So my biggest one, I had Fairway Beef. This one took me, I called him every month for 4 years. And then finally he just called me randomly one day and he goes, I can't think of another realtor you even call right now because you called me every month for 4 years religiously and you're going to sell Fairway for me.
And you had never spoken to him in those 4 years?
First time I talked to him was actually about his house in Auburn. And he was super rude to me, like swearing at me. And I actually know when people are rude, so I kind of spin it around and I seen something in his email said Fairway BF. And I'm like, you own Fairway? Do you work there or something? He goes, yeah, my family's owned it for 70 years or whatever. And then it just changed everything. And then we talked all the time.
Wow. So you noticed that and you asked him about it and that gave the connection point. Like, I think that's very true. It's like when you ask a personal question, you give somebody an opportunity to tell you about their life.
Yeah.
They feel more connected to you.
Absolutely. That's why I'll try to find any little common ground to like talk about. So try to pull stuff out of them. And a lot of times I'm pretty good at it and they'll just go with it. And then once you do that, it changes the whole attitude. Yeah.
So you're calling through your entire sphere. How often?
So my sphere, I talk to a lot of them just randomly, just random texts, but I do a lot. So I have all my clients' birthdays in there. So I partnered with Queen's Cups in Worcester and then the Public House Bakery in Sturbridge. So they get a postcard on their birthday month. They take it there and they can get a cupcake for free on us. So we do client appreciation parties, like big ones, rented out an entire like brewery, apple orchard, brought their families and we had like 100 and something people there. Do gifts for like top ones that send us a lot of referrals. Usually like Valentine's Day, Christmas cards, all that kind of stuff, pie events that we do for Thanksgiving. So I just try to at least every 2 months still see my face somehow. Right.
So I love that idea. So you went to a local bakery and said, anytime I want to give them a free cupcake, and every time they come, you just give them
they have a postcard that they have to hand to the people, and then the company will just call me and I'll charge my card with it.
Awesome.
And honestly, no one ever really does it, but they'll post it on Facebook that, oh, look what my realtor does. And I'm like, great. The only people who actually do it is my mom and sister. Like I've had like 3 people do it.
Right.
But it's great publicity. So
yeah, I know there's a couple other companies I've heard of, agents use like send out cards too. Those they can send brownies.
Yeah.
But I like that idea because you're right. Half the people are going to appreciate the gesture. Are they actually going to go through with it and go get the cupcake? Probably not.
That's the card we send.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So I really also keened in on taking meticulous notes on every client. That's awesome. So if you have a cold client you don't really know too much about, are you doing other things to try to connect with them at a personal level? Are you trying to find them on social media?
Yep, I'll try to find them. Like I have to actually go through my social media like every week and get rid of people that I don't know because I'm up to 5,000, so I can't friend anyone else. But I do. I'll find them on social media and try to friend them, LinkedIn, any of them, and try to have them as friends so they see my stuff.
Just to build out further connection points. That's awesome. That's awesome. So what are some of the other secrets to your success? I know you're getting a lot of business by sphere, and obviously there's a to-do list or an action list that goes along with that. But for anyone that's trying to get to that point, or like, I know some agents recently have said, my sphere is not producing enough anymore. It just happens to be the type of sphere I have, or the type of people that are in my sphere. They're just not producing leads for me right now in this market. Any suggestions you'd give agents that are trying to build up their sphere on how to go about that?
Get yourself out there, do meetups, just any events that are going on that you can meet new people, just get out there so you can put your face in front of them, and always just make sure every single person you talk to knows you're in real estate. They know you sell houses for a living. That's it. Like everyone.
How do you put that out there?
Honestly, just by talking to them. Like if we're at an event, like everyone there will have a card of mine or something, keychains, whatever we have. I just want every single person to know that's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So the door knocking, let's jump on the door knocking. When you were out door knocking, what was your approach?
I'd look for your expireds, and then I would just write down a list of expireds that, these people wanted to sell a house. So why not try again? And then I just literally go door knocking. I print it out. I have a flyer for expired listings. I have a flyer for canceled. I have a flyer for everything. So, I'll give them that. I'll give them a little gift. I have, magnets that have the conversion chart for the refrigerator. So it'll tell like the quarts to ounces or whatever. So it's just something that they keep and they won't get rid of, like a baseball schedule to get rid of. So that's something they will probably keep. But I give that to the people that I'm door knocking, so they have something to remember who to buy.
Gotcha.
And I'll try to get their contact info while I'm there.
And would you just drive from one expired to another? Or would you knock homes around the expired as well?
So I've done that. So if I come into like a neighborhood that's just a cute little neighborhood and I can walk it really easy and it's nice out, absolutely, I'll just go walk it. And now I have flyers for farming as well, so I'll bring those with me just for those people.
When you approach the door, is there any particular thing you do? I know some people have rituals on how to get people to not open the door and say F off.
First thing I say, I don't know how good this is, but first thing I say is that I am not a Jehovah's Witness. I'm not trying to sell it. And then usually they smile and then they talk to me.
Okay.
I've never had no one has ever been rude.
Yeah, good.
I've never had any issues like that. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the market. Obviously, the market's shifted. And what are you doing to pivot in the market, or have you had to at all?
I haven't really had to a whole ton. The rebranding has been taking a little bit of my time away, so I'm trying to shift some of my business towards the agents. But yeah, it hasn't really affected me a whole lot. But yeah, it's definitely affected everyone just because of the rates and people are afraid to buy, and they can't afford what they could afford, a year ago. But really, it's just doing the same thing I've always done and just communicating. Communication is probably my number one rule in my team. If I always tell my people or my clients, if I don't answer you within 30 minutes, I'm pretty sure I died. So because I can never not answer.
Right. Do you use any strategies to try to get them to answer the phone? Pre-text, post-text, anything like that?
Post-text usually. So usually I'll call, leave a message, and then I'll text them right after. And so honestly, some of these people I don't ever hear from for years. And I'll do the same thing, leave a message, same thing, and then all of a sudden randomly they'll just call me and say, hey, all right, we're ready to sell.
So your follow-up's pretty much a buy, sell, or die?
Buy or die. Buy, sell, or die. Yep.
Right. That's the only time you're gonna stop.
Really, the only until you buy or sell something or tell me to F up, it's definitely going.
I love the Fairway Beef one. How big a deal is that?
We listed it for 1.5. I think it sold for 950. It's basically a piece of land in a good location because it was useless. It's just a big refrigerator.
Right.
That was my biggest to date. So 950.
Did you follow up that one for so long because you knew the opportunity, or is that your general approach?
That's just my thing. Until they tell me they don't want, like a lot of my new agents, they're like, oh, well, I called them twice and then they stop. And I'm like, I call people for years until they either tell me to stop or they do something. I will call them for 20 years. I don't care.
Right. because they had that, you got their information. It's good
They
information.
put their information in to buy or sell a home. They
Right.
they had some inclination that they wanted to do that. So I'm gonna keep calling until they do.
Right, awesome, awesome. Let's talk about flipping, because I know flipping is a portion of your business now. Tell me about your first, your last couple flip opportunities and how those came about, and kind of how being in the real estate business kind of led you to some of those.
So being in the business definitely helped me get the best hard money lender I've ever had, or even heard of.
Okay,
I won't give his name out.
all right.
I'm running out of money. So our first flip was last year I flipped with a bunch of investors before that, but like my personal flip was one in Southbridge we bought last year, which I will never buy a 230-year-old home again. We were 8 weeks behind because the entire floor structure was tree timbers. So we had to tear out the floor, put like a real floor structure, jack up the house. It took 8 weeks to do all this.
Wow.
We even started renovating. We made money, not much. I think we made like 25 grand. Bought it for 170, I think, and sold it for 3 something. But we were at budget basically in 8 weeks behind, and we definitely missed the market a little bit.
Right.
So what I'm doing now is a 2-family in Spencer. I kind of fell into that. We had it listed as a regular sale for a client, and the sale fell through, and she was going to lose it, so I bought it. This one's a little safer. Doesn't need a huge amount of renovations. Plus, it's an apartment building, so you're not going to go crazy with it.
Right. Right.
So
So you were willing to buy it because even if the market, when did you buy that one? When did you close on that one?
I bought this one 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago.
Okay, so you weren't concerned about the market, or you just felt you had the backup strategies in place where it didn't matter?
This one definitely was a little safer because of being a 2-family and the rental market's nuts.
Right.
I could keep it. If the market really tanked, I could keep it and still profit, almost $1,000 a month just holding it.
Right. Right.
But I want to obviously try to flip it. And honestly, I take my advice from like some of the bigger investors, and they always say invest when no one else will. So
That's true. That's true. I think it's one of the points of this is just for agents to realize that opportunity, you're in front of opportunities. If you keep your mind closed to the opportunities, you wouldn't, most agents probably would have been like, sorry, the deal fell apart.
Yeah.
Best of luck. And you looked at it like, okay, I know you're in a rough position. Like, here's another option. I'm not saying you have to do it or not, but here's another option. And it was a good option for them. It was a win-win. They didn't lose all their equity, and there was some on the table for both of you. So, I mean,
I protected my client, which is my job that she hired me for. I protected her from having to file bankruptcy and losing a house.
All right.
By buying it, and then I'll turn it around and make a little bit on it. But it was more really just to try to help out a client too.
Right. Right. So yeah, so keeping your mind open to the opportunities out there, I think is big. I'm sure you're always looking for opportunities no matter where they come, right?
Every day.
Right. So how often do they come in the manner that you thought they were going to come?
They never come in that manner. When I look for a property, I can never really find one. It's always they just kind of fall into my lap, or I find these properties.
Right. And I think that a lot of agents don't realize that when you're putting yourself out there in enough ways, like they're like, oh, you probably know how, every piece of business that's coming to you, and it's not the case. And it's not the case, right?
The 4-family I'm buying in Putnam now, that one was actually the only one that I just looked on MLS and found and bought it. So I do a little mix of every kind of investing.
Right, right. What else is on your agenda for this year for your growth?
So we have a goal of, I want to be at 8 agents by 2024. I want to flip 5 more homes by 2024, and I want the team to sell 125.
Oh, awesome.
I would love to get back a little bit on my sales, because I don't want to sell 75 homes again by myself. It's just not fun. So I'd rather kind of step back a little bit and get my numbers down and get their numbers up.
Gotcha. That's cool. So you have a little bit more time to invest and kind of grow that side of the business. That's awesome.
I want to have 3 buildings, rental buildings by 2024 too.
Okay. So, but you have a 2-family, you're not going to keep as
no. I don't love 2-family just because if you lose one tenant, you're now in the negative.
Okay.
So I don't love those. Like at least a 3-family, you're kind of safe. You lose one, you're still at least covering the mortgage.
Okay, so you use that one as a flip to get the
Yep.
cash to
Yep.
then invest in a multifamily.
Well, I'm doing that separately, completely separate. This is what I'll just take this cash and dump it into probably another flip.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so you're trying to keep your funds into buckets? Is that kind of how you're looking at your
Kinda.
business?
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Honestly, I use the hard money guy to do certain things to alleviate me using all of my credit. I'll use him to buy it and then I'll just refi it. So
even on a multifamily, you're probably gonna be looking for something that needs work that you can build some value into?
yeah, I'd like something like that, like something that's in good shape, but just needs some, minor cosmetic type updates, and then I'll literally borrow 30-40 grand from him and then just refi it into keeping it in my own name from a
Right.
Then I don't have to keep putting down 25%.
Hmm.
So I utilize the hard money guy to alleviate that 25% down.
Gotcha. I used to use that approach. I like that approach. Because it's easier to get into a deal and it's way easier to
So much
refinance.
easier. I
When
can
you
close
got,
it.
when you
in
got
3 weeks.
equity,
Yeah.
when you got equity, people are willing to talk to you.
Close in 3 weeks. It's basically almost a cash offer. So there's nothing contingencies. I don't do inspections.
So, yeah, so you don't mind paying the 2-3 points.
Nope.
And
Worth it. Better than 25% down on 400 grand.
it's true. That's
Yep.
true. Awesome. What else would you give agents for suggestions on how to beat this market if they feel like they're struggling this year? What would you be doing if you weren't getting it, have as much sphere business coming in and you were like, let's say reverse 5 years to where you were 5 years ago, and you were to give some agents some advice on how to keep growing and not completely struggling right now with the way the market is right now?
This market is definitely tough, especially for newer agents. Because you know what, even if you're putting in offers, there's a good chance that if you're not known, that the other agent's not going to know you. So get yourself in front of other agents and make friends with every agent you can. Because if they know you and they trust you, then they're probably going to advise their clients to take your offers first. So that's one thing. I think agent-to-agent relationships are huge in this business.
Huge.
Everyone I work with, they'll literally, not tell me what to write on my offers, but they'll advise me how to proceed with my offer because they'd rather work with me than someone they don't know.
Totally.
So
totally agree with that.
I
guess the other options are you either get on a team that's reputable, I think many agents should be considering the team opportunity now to stay in the business. It's pretty hard to go out of the business temporarily and then come back in. You're better off finding a way to stay in the business and stick with a team. Or, in some cases, just like the old adage, if you've got a big, huge listing opportunity and you've never done $1 million+ listing in your business, you're better off partnering with an agent that'll come in with you.
Absolutely.
And work with you on clients. So maybe you're just using other agents' reputations in that community to say, hey, I'm working with a buyer, I'll work with them mostly, but how about I give you a 25% referral fee if we can, present this offer together. Like I would be doing anything I could like that right now.
Yep. Use the other agents. I mean, almost every agent will be happy to help you. I don't look at you as competition. I look at you as just someone that can help each other. And that's
exactly
how you want to do it.
Exactly. One more question. So if for prospecting, what would you suggest agents do for prospecting right now to find listings?
Honestly, the door knocking, now that it's going to be springtime, door knocking is one big one. Not that there's a ton of expireds, but they're still there. Any for sale by owners they see, literally get into the house. Tell them you got a client that you're previewing the house for. Once you get in there, that's when you sell yourself. Get yourself in front of sellers. There's signs out there also because no one wants to pay a realtor fee. So they try to sell themselves and they lose money. And
right.
Where we come in and get in front of them and tell them how they're failing and how much you can help.
The best ones are the drive-bys that are nowhere else. They have a sign in the front yard. They're not on Craigslist. They're not on Facebook. They're not on Zillow. They're nowhere. They just throw up a sign and hope it sells. Those are the best for sale by owners always.
Easy. And I can usually sell those in a second.
Yeah. So when you get there and you're selling on a for sale by owner, for instance, what gets you that listing quickly?
Confidence, and I'll show them basically what they are lacking and why I feel that I could offer them so much more to get them so much more money, which is more so just exposure.
Awesome.
They have none. They have no exposure. They have a sign in front of their yard and no pictures, no nothing. And with using a good agent or an agent, you have just an uber amount of exposure. that they don't understand. Like, you might not get any offers where you put your sign, but with my exposure, you're probably going to get multiple. And if you price it right, you're probably going to make way more money than you think you're going to do you think you're saving by not using a realtor. You'll probably make a ton more.
Right. For any team leaders looking to get to your level with a team, what are 2 things you would have done differently when you started growing your team?
I don't want my team to be a revolving door like in most teams. So I treat my agents like people and not numbers. I don't nickel and dime them. I want them to want to be on my team. So I do all the training. I have, they have admin support. But instead of doing a 50-50 split, my agents are on a 70-30. So they make a little bit more money. And then there's an incentive if they sell 4 million in total sales, it's up to 80-20.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want you.
Anything different if you give them the lead? Is it a different split if you give them the lead?
If it's like a ready to go, like seller or whatever, like ready, then we talked about a 60-40. Still not 50-50.
Right.
Because no one, if you're not making money, you're not going to want to be here.
True. And the revolving door is the biggest problem teams have.
Yep. And that's why I tried that. And so far, the 2 team members that I have, the two of the ones that are not new, have been with me for 2 years, over 2 years.
Okay, cool. What's one last question then? What is the biggest mistake you've ever made as a team leader?
Trying to grow before I was ready. I added a bunch of agents, but had no admin support. I didn't know which direction to go in. So then we completely took a step back and threw everything out the window and started with an admin and then hiring agents slowly and really organically. I'm not looking to, find agents. I want agents to find me. And they have.
Right. Because you're out there doing the business, probably open houses. I'm sure all that stuff helps to attract agents. I'm 100% proponent of that. I think if you're not a top producer who's got an admin, even if it's part-time, your first step is the admin.
Yes, 100%. And I didn't know that. I was like, I'll just get a bunch of agents. No idea what I was doing.
Right. Because you can actually typically step up your production quite a bit just by having an admin.
Yep. And that's a huge selling point to your agents. Now, like the second they get a deal done, they are done paperwork. That admin takes over, so they have more time to get out there and do the things that they need to do to sell.
Right. I like that.
I don't charge them for that either. Like I pay the admin.
Right.
I don't charge a transaction fee like certain companies do. Like I don't do anything. Like it's very point blank in my company.
Awesome. Love it. Appreciate it, man. I think that was awesome. And I don't see any questions right now, so we'll just wrap this up. Appreciate your time. I'm sure you guys are going to have a great year. Thanks, Mike, for joining us today. And I'm sure we'll be in touch in the near future. But best of luck, Mike. Have a great year.
You too.
All right, later.